Welcome to Entreprogrammers Podcast, the podcast for developreneurs, where you get to be a fly on the wall listening to real conversations of developers trying to tackle the challenges they face as entrepreneurs.
The Entreprogrammers Podcast is brought to you by SignalLeap.com. It's not just the best audio host for your podcast, it's also the only podcast host that we'll talk about during the Entreprogrammers Podcast. Because SignalLeap is one of the services that I'm building and often used as fodder for information that we talk about during the Entreprogrammers Podcast. So check it out at SignalLeap.com. It's podcast hosting without the headaches.
Do you mind tweeting my Flappy Angry Room?
The funny thing is that so someone made a 2048 a Darkroom 2048.
Really interesting. Yeah.
And it was a mishmash. So I mean, it was actually like a derivative work, which is great. So they would take the 2048 game, and then you would like gather wood, and if your fire went out, like the board would go blank, and it's like, yeah, hey, this is a cool derivative work, and it's
right.
It doesn't directly compete with me. People are not going to think it does, and so those cool things would start coming out. And so another thing was when we went viral, we at that point were like, okay, we need to trademark this because trying to take this down in these app stores has become just painful. We could do a common law trademark on they sometimes took it down. So we went through the trademark process. It took us 3 months just to get the paperwork in place for that trademark, and then we have to wait 6 months for it to be disputed. So it gives the opportunity for anyone to dispute the trademark, and then only then are we given the trademark at that point. But at that point, the damage has been done, right? There's forms of like brand or copyright perspective. Those people think they're downloading the official version of the game, and it isn't. I actually got support emails come back to me. It's like, man, your game doesn't save, and I don't understand why. And like, send me a screenshot, and they send me a screenshot of this like free like weird version. It's like, yeah, it's because you're not in the game.
Right. I love that. It's weird. I mean, I get like emails from people on my Pluralsight videos, and they're like, I downloaded this from here, and it's like a torrent site. They're asking for
It's like, all right. But at that point, it's like, here's a promo code. Just it's okay. You don't have to pay for it. Just take it, right? I give away promo codes like candy. It's like, I'd rather you play my game than try to support these other guys, which was great.
Darn it! Why did I buy that thing then?
Chuck, just get a refund, and then you'll get a promo code. We got to save you that 99 cents.
Right.
Yeah, just pass the dollar through the screen.
Yeah, so here you go. So it's part of it, and we're still waiting for the registered trademark. It's like we're just still kind of sitting there going, all right, eventually we'll get it, and then we'll have a real bite to our request, our takedown requests. Right. So at that point, it's like you can use the source code, you can make derivative works, but you can't call it a darkroom, and you can't say that it's a darkroom, and that's fine. And I want to encourage derivative works. I want to inspire those that want to do game development, but for me, it's like the spirit of open source. I've gotten some people criticize me for saying that. It's like, well, Michael made it MPL so that people can create derivative works, not to steal his work and just create a shill and put it up for a quick cash.
Right.
But it's being used like that, unfortunately.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if somebody wants to just get in, they don't want to do the development, but they want to kind of write their own story in.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Use the engine, carve it out, write your own story. That's the whole point of doing it. But don't call it a darkroom, and don't say that it's like the official release or the free version or those things, and try to hang on our coattails of success. It just it was hard. It was hard fought.
It doesn't seem like that's an unreasonable part of the review process. Like, Google it in the App Store. Does it look like does it look like anything else? Okay, well, review further.
Yeah, I mean, and it was so frustrating. At one point, it was on the Windows phone, and it was like a dark room, and the screenshot it was selling for $1.99, and when you download it, it's like this collection of search results for music that has the word dark in it. It's like, the title was like a dark room game, and I was like, you're kidding me, right? And I went through the takedown process in there, and they had this place where you can say, it's a trademark violation, but they wanted a trademark number, and it's like, well, okay, come on, guys, this is ridiculous, right? So stuff like that was just. They eventually took it down, but I had to go talk to DEs and things in my area to actually get it somewhat escalated. Like, come on, this is really.
Right. Yeah.
And then eventually I think they did a huge later on they did a huge audit of the marketplace and like took down all these apps and whatnot. So they're trying, they're doing their best that they can, but yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. But it's a good problem, I guess, right? It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Have you had any trouble with the review process with Apple? Because that's always fun, or can be fun.
No, I guess. Yeah, not really. I think they're really good about it. So the great thing is that there's no data, so you can play it in airplane mode. So I kind of skirt a lot of the require server side and things like that. And unless they sit down and actually play the game, the only thing they'll see is like this one progress bar. I was like, I guess this is the game. So even if I have like this terrible crashing bug like halfway into it, they won't actually see that. So I think from my perspective with games, they're pretty lax about it. They'll let whatever through. The great thing though is that so you all know about Flappy Bird, I'm sure. So another version, he built another game called Swingcopter, and the beauty of the App Store, it's this double-edged aspect of having a really strict review process versus not. The great thing about the App Store was when Swingcopter came out on iOS, when you searched for Swingcopter, there was one version of Swingcopter. When you went to the Google Play Store and you searched for Swingcopter, there were like 30 versions because people were like they had their eye on it. They're like, we're gonna clone it. We're gonna do our quick thing. So Apple did their due diligence and said we knew what happened with Flappy Bird. This guy is releasing another game. One, we're gonna feature him because we want to support him, and two, we're gonna make sure that no other games come through that even attempt to copy this. Whether by word or whatever, they just declined them. They said, no, we're not going to do it. So it's good. They have a strict review process, but at the same time, they do protect the developers. So it's nice.
Nice. How quickly do those clones come out?
They usually come out. First of all, your game has to be noticed, right? So they're not going to clone a game that isn't noticed. And once it's noticed, it depends on how quickly they can build the app. So for like Monument Valley, when that hit the #1 spot, if you play Monument Valley, there's no way someone's going to invest time to create a clone of Monument Valley, right?
Yeah.
It's just too much effort. If a Darkroom wasn't open source, they probably wouldn't have cloned that either because it's just too much effort to create that kind of game. For Flappy Bird, it was it's like 200 lines of sprite kit code, right? So it's like, we can. That's a viable business where we could potentially get a percentage of this profit. So it depends on like how hard it is to clone. There's another one called it was like a jumping game where you had like stick figures that jump over.
Doodle jump maybe.
It was they don't dash no one dies or something like. It was like this weird stick figure game, and. So it became like the #3 app in the free section, and then a clone came out, and in their comments they would say, "We're the real one," because the clones. Look at our release date. We're the real one. We're the one that came out first, and then the clone was like, "Oh, we got better graphics," and it's like, "Oh my gosh, this is."
That's always a bad move if you have to say you were the real one. It's like.
Yeah. It's frustrating because again, you're an indie developer. You have this instant success. I can't afford a $400 an hour lawyer to try to take these do these takedowns for people that live in Korea or Vietnam that are just like going and creating these apps, or Australia. It's like we're dealing with international boundaries at this point. International litigation. It's just it's tough.
You've got to kind of hire mercenaries to come in there and just
just take them out. It's easier to get a hit.
The iNinja team.
Yes, the iNinja team.
I bet that would you might be able to build a viable business out of that, like a group of mercenaries. We come down and we enforce international trademark law.
I'm Mafia. Yeah,
We're ninjas.
You know,
They won't even see us coming.
Yep. So at that point, it's like, throwing good money at bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't.
And plus, I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, if you're gonna let it destroy your happiness, right? Then what's the whole point? I mean, you can make all this money, but you've got this sick feeling in your stomach all the time because you're so like disturbed by people stealing your stuff that you can't enjoy it. You know, it takes the joy. So I don't know. To some degree, like, you can do what you can do, but it's just gonna happen. You know.
Yeah, like the first time I saw the clone come out, I was so angry. It ruined my day. It really ruined my day, and it ruined my week because I was just, and it's like, I can't believe people are doing this. This is so frustrating. I was like, oh man, and it was not fun. But then, after a while, you're like, you get used to it. You understand, you understand this new experience, and you understand what you can and can't do about it, and then you just work through it. You just imply as much objective stoicism as you can towards the situation, and you get better. I still get 1-star reviews that call the app crap, and at first that hurt me a lot, and now it's like, okay, it's okay.
It's interesting. Like, basically, the lower the barrier to entry is, the less viable something is as a long-term business. So yours is complicated enough that it's kind of hard to knock off.
Right.
But that kind of just generally applies. I mean, it goes with info products. If you've got a really simple product, or like really simple businesses, like kind of the AdSense thing, it's not hard to reverse engineer what you've done if you've got like a high-ranking website and just knock you off and steal half your traffic.
Right.
That's where I kind of get in on the audience, and I think Amir did this some too with the audience building. Like, people knew who he was. Like, he put commentary in the game. Like, there was this personal touch the whole way.
Yep.
And it's like,
you can't clone that.
Exactly, you can't clone that. It's like, someone could knock off my stuff, but they're not going to be me. And that's what and that if you can build a business around people liking you because of what you're producing and who you are, then that, I mean, obviously it's a little bit harder with the game, but I think Amir, you had some success with that. Just hearing your story,
Absolutely.
like, people liked you. That's why they spread it. That's I mean, that's probably part of what ended up being the tipping point for you, was that personal touch that that made it where people want to share this thing.
Yep. Yeah. So it's good. It works out, and after that, you get that ball rolling, then you get that brick, and then you start building those walls, and just, add more bricks to it.
Yep.
So what we this is our, we didn't really brief you on this, Amir, but this is our weekly mastermind group. So I was going to ask what else is new. I wanted to at least tell you before you're like, well, what's going on? Aren't these guys interviewing me? Because we're going to be talking about but we welcome your input. Like, you're now part of our mastermind group for a week, or for this week.
So.
Yep.
For this week, cool. So as far as what's new, I'm doing that Twitch channel. That's another thing that I'm trying to build out. So the idea there is that I do live coding sessions on doing game development for people, for young adults and teens, or people that are beginning in specific areas, just want to get into iOS development, want to get into doing HTML5 games or whatever. And I have one of my old friends. He's starting to get into computer science as a second career. So I was like, we can get you on as a co-host. You can learn on, because it's hard to get a job when you're just, getting started. So he's going to be on, and he's going to get actually hours under his belt, and being able to put that on his resume, saying that he's built apps, he's done training sessions, X hours of training sessions. I get to. It's funny watching other game development Twitch videos. It's like they have headphones on, and they have a camera behind them, and they're looking at a screen like this, and it's like. It's not fun, right? It's only fun for so long watching this person, stare at a screen going, I don't know why this works, why this doesn't work, or why this does work. So, having a co-host and, maybe being more entertaining, being a channel that people can visit and say, oh, yeah, well, let's see what these guys are up to today. So that's kind of that next avenue to see if I can build a stronger following around game development, around indie gamers, around helping people get into programming and indie gaming, and then seeing where it goes from there. Does that end up doing the training? Do I end up getting a perspective where I can do products, and potentially sell those things, speaking engagements, all those things start becoming aspects of where I want to, I guess, grow as a person or contribute back.
Mm-hmm. I like that commentary approach, because you see what he's going to do now. I wonder, do you think he might use a for loop or a for each loop here? I would probably go with a for each loop in this situation. Let me tell you why.
Yeah, most of my time it's like I have first world problems because when I searched for this error message on Google, it's not like one of the top 3. It's like I'm in trouble now. And Stack Overflow more than the editor. I'm just like, how do I do this crap?
So what's your Twitch? I've just I hadn't really known about Twitch. Maybe I heard about it, but I hadn't.
Yeah, let me. I have a link. I should put a better link.
I'm just wondering if the for loop card is a 2-cost card or a 3-cost.
So, and another cool thing that I'm doing is with regards to the community aspect. Let me get the link in here. Of course, it's my gamer tag. It's not Amir Rajan from a branding standpoint. How do I chat?
Google makes it hard. Go to the upper left, and then there's like a little cryptic icon.
So what I end up doing on the Twitch channel, so there's like a panel. There's panels where you can actually put markdown for what the channel is and whatnot. So I have a MailChimp link there, says subscribe to this. I'll send you things. I'll let you know when the next sessions are going to be. I actually started doing like a members thing, so it's Code Dojo, right? So you start off at white belt, and then as you attend and as you interact with me, as I get to know you as a person and build that relationship, you start going from apprentice level to like journeyman and then a master level, and then it gives them. I don't want to call it gamification, but it brings it creates this self-sustaining community where if someone comes in and says, hey, how do I do a for loop, I can point to one of my green belts and say, hey, show this guy how to do a for loop, or put up a JS Fiddle and send him the link so he can try it out. Yeah. And then this is also a way for me to try to get my parents involved with Twitch also, because I have a brother-in-law who's younger, and at one point he wanted to get on Twitch, and he's trying to explain to his parents, this is what Twitch is, this is what it does, and I want to be a professional Twitch person. And their parents were like, okay, wait, so you need $100 what? And you need a $200 what? And so this aspect is like, okay, well, this is an avenue for you to get your parents involved. Like, if they start coming to my Twitch channel and they see that I'm doing game development, and suddenly you wanting to buy a Mac Mini so you can build iOS apps is not, is something that you can bring to your parents, saying like, look, I'm a black belt here, or I'm a green belt already, and I want to build an iOS app, and I've built these web games. Look, Mom, can you come on there, and Amir will even talk to you live and let you know that I'm a good person, and maybe those aspects of it, right?
I can see it now. You need that button on there. $5. I will talk to your mom.
Yeah. I'll talk to your mom. So yeah, those things are. So that's what I'm attempting to do now, and try to build a community. And there's that business component, being that those people that come on the channel know about a dark room, which will get them to buy the game, which will raise the rank of darkroom, and then get that residual income. So there is a feedback into that main source, that main passive income that I have. But it's still, I still think it's genuine. I think it has a genuine aspect to it, and I want to do it. I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think that's like the what's new that I have. That's my next quote unquote business venture.
Cool. Yeah, I like it.
So I have to ask, just looking at your Twitch channel, you used RubyMotion?
Mm-hmm.
I like you more already.
Yeah, it's crazy. So another thing is that when I start the channel and it goes live, I actually mention RubyMotion, and then RubyMotion themselves will retweet about it, right? So, and that's going to be an avenue for them. So hopefully in the future, maybe I can set up something. It's like, hey, I'll definitely do one RubyMotion session, Twitch session every week, and then when it comes time to if people are hesitant to try and reverse it, oh, just go to Amir's channel and watch him do this stuff. So if I can build those kind of relationships and show my legitimacy as a Twitch streamer, then those opportunities open up also. And then if someone comes to me and is like, hey, we got a physics engine that we'd love for you to try to use live, then I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try it out. I'll give it a shot and see what it's like. Or, oh, we've got a new Canvas-based JavaScript thing. Could you try that out live? It's like, yeah, I can do that, and hopefully build those kind of relationships.
Laurent?
Yeah. Yep. Mr. Sanzanetti. Yep. And the great thing is that because they've done RM3.0 now and have Android support, I'm going to make yet another attempt to port the app to Android. But this is something I can do live then, right? So then people can see like the viability of saying, well, yeah, you can learn Swift or Objective-C, but then you're recreating it inside of Android or having to redo it. You can use Xamarin if you like the IDEs, right? If you like IDEs, if you like C#, C#'s a phenomenal language, but it's not consistent with how I like to do my development, which is like lightweight development environments, command line centric, things like that. And so they can start seeing like, hey, Android development is viable. He's porting this game over, and being able to do that live, learn myself, and then still have that good presence and hopefully help other people learn. I think all of it is just going to play off of each other really well.
Yep.
All right, who's got some news to share?
John, I want to hear, have you gotten any sales from your fiasco?
Oh, gosh.
Yep, funny story about that.
I screwed it up. I did. So I have this 3-week blog email course, and I've been waiting. I've been waiting for 3 weeks to see if this is going to convert. Like this email that went out yesterday was after you've gone through the blog course, then this one is actually the sales pitch, where I actually say, hey, look, by the way, this email course was actually a sales pitch, but this is a cool way to do it if you're going to market something, like give people value. And so yesterday the email doesn't go out, right? And I'm like, what is going on? And so I look in Drip and I see that there's like it says for my account, it says canceled for the email. And then I was like, oh. So I looked at the 180 other people, and it's all canceled. So I emailed Drip support. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what am I going to do? I could do like a query and like do a bulk update and send it out, but then I won't be able to track it, because I want it to come from the campaign, not a one-off email. So I went in and I manually clicked all the things, right, and sent it, and then Drip, and then I'm sitting at dinner and I see like another email come from me, like the less than 6. And it's and I'm like, oh crap! I know Drip support is about to email me next and say we fixed it for you, and they did, and they did fix it for me. So now everyone got 2 emails. Out of 180 people that got 2 emails, no one unsubscribed. So that was a really good sign for me, because that meant that did we lose Josh? Did he just?
Looks like it.
He's like ask questions and disappear.
There he is. He's back.
So anyway, out of 180 people to get double emails and then no one unsubscribed, that means that told me my email course has probably been pretty successful in providing value to people, because they didn't think I was a spammer even sending 2. But then today, there's 2 more. The sale is essentially 48 hours once you've gone through the course. So there's 2 more emails that go out today and tomorrow, and so. Or it might be 2 today, but anyway, so the email went out today with the code in there in order to get $100 off of the How to Market Yourself course, and then I got 2 emails this morning that I was like, I tried to screenshots. I tried to use the code and it didn't work, and I realized that somewhere along the line I didn't put the code into DPD to give the $100 discount off, so I've emailed them back, right? And I made the code work, but from my previous experience with this, because I did this on I think I did it on my launch day, on the original launch of the course. I screwed this up and didn't have the code in there. Those people disappeared and they never purchased. So actually, just as I'm talking, I got a sale. So I've gotten 1 sale. I don't know if it's the same guy. It looks like it is one of the. Nope. Yeah, it is one of the guys. So I probably lost 1 person, Well, I mean, these are the people that email me, right? So out of 100 and there's 180 people. I'm guessing 150 of them were not customers already. So I was expecting around a 5 to 10% conversion rate. So I was expecting somewhere between 5 and 10 sales. I've gotten one so far. Usually the sales come in at the end, but I think I probably hurt myself for 5 or 6 sales, I would guess, because it's, when you're in the moment of deciding to buy, if a coupon code doesn't work, like I maybe the next email will reignite it in their mind, or I'll probably send an email out in a little bit here that says, by the way, sorry, I messed that up.
What about your Patreon? That was another thing that you're trying out too, right?
Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to work out. I tried to do that for sponsorship. I don't know if did I mention it to you guys here?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So for Get Up and Code, I said, okay. So are you guys familiar with Patreon?
Yeah.
So it's basically like the thing where someone can essentially sponsor you as an artist or person,
right.
Doing like YouTube, blog posts, whatever, podcast. And they devote I'm going to pay X number of dollars per podcast episode you put out. So I did that for Get Up and Code. I put an announcement in there, created a page, and said, hey, rather than me trying to get sponsors for this show, or maybe I still will at some point, but here's something that I'm going to try this. Let me try putting out a Patreon. And you can sign up and you can donate whatever the show's totally free. You don't have to do this, but if you want to and you want to make sure that Get Up and Code continues to be produced, then something we could try here potentially as well. But but yeah, so I had maybe I just started doing that last week. The new episode hasn't come out, or it should have come out this morning. I'll have to see if Doug got that up. But essentially, I had 2 people sign up. Oh, yep, and he did get it up. So I'll just put that link in there. But anyway, I've just had 2 people sign up. So every episode of Get Up and Code I produce now, I'll get $3 to support the show, which it's not a lot of money, but if I can get 100 people signed up, right, then it could actually be a significant amount. So I don't know. We'll see. It's an experiment. We'll see if it works.
Yeah, I'm trying something similar, except I looked at Patreon, and the issue that I had is that I have 5 shows, and that means that I need 5 Patreon accounts.
Well, I was wondering about that, right? Because I was thinking about I've got my YouTube channel and the blog as well, and I thought maybe it makes sense. If this worked with Get Up and Code, I was thinking about making one Patreon account that was here's all the stuff that I do, and you could just pay a monthly and support me in some way, right? Mm-hmm. And you might be able to do something like that, because I think if you have multiple Patreon accounts, it's going to, I don't know, I feel like it'll probably be better for you to just create one and be look, I produce all these podcasts, you might only subscribe to one of them or whatever, but and it might.
And you can put a limit. And as a patron, you can actually put a limit on how much gets contributed. Yeah. So it's I'll pay $5 per thing for a maximum of $15. So,
yeah. What I'm looking at doing is there's another one out there called Castbacker, and I talked to Jonathan Stark, and anyway, so what that does is you can set it up per podcast, and then they don't get to pick their amount. It's just $5 a month.
Okay, I saw that. Yeah.
And I like it because it's simpler, and So I'm going to try that one out and see how it goes.
The way I figure is you might as well, even if you keep sponsorship, even if you do sponsorship, you might as well give, if people want to give you money for producing a thing, right? As long as you're not you got to, as long as you're not being one of those, TV evangelicus, saying that you're going to go to hell if you don't, give me $5 a month, then you might as well do it, right? Because some people are, it's like the 80-20 principle. Josh is always talking about you want to try and figure out. Some people they have money they want to spend and give you, so give them the opportunity.
What you need to do is replace the cover art on all of your podcasts with a Jimmy, your Jimmy Wales impression.
Oh yeah.
Just sorrowful eyes.
Yeah. Just put it just constantly. If everyone listening to this Ruby Rogues episode right now donated $3, I could go to Ruth Chris's Steakhouse. My family.
Yeah.
So let's see. I guess I'll continue on what. So that's a big thing that I've been working on. But I've gotten a lot of conversions on the Bluehost, right? So if I look at, I mean, part of the thing that I'm doing with that blog course is like on day 2 or something, I'm showing you how to set up a WordPress site in 5 minutes on Bluehost. And I've got a video and I've got some steps that I made it very streamlined and clear. And in January alone, I've had 8 signups. So,
nice.
Yeah, overall, I think I just launched the course in like mid-December. I've had 16 signups. So,
nice.
So that's good. I mean, that's extra income that the blog course produces. And then I also put in on day 5 for the homework. I came up with the idea of saying, well, how can I make this kind of viral? So I said, for the homework, write a blog post about the, on your new blog that you have. Write a blog post about this email course and link back here, and I'll kind of link back to you and share that as a collection of people who have written about it. Yeah. And so so far I'm seeing a lot of traffic coming from, like I'm watching the Google Analytics, and people are coming from all those different blogs. I mean, it's only a few people because these blogs aren't popular, but the idea is to plant this orchard by planting a bunch of saplings. Sapperlings are Magic the Gathering things, aren't they?
Those are 2 cost cards.
Yeah, it's like that crap. Remember that crappy set of Magic the Gathering that they were selling? You could buy boxes for like $10. Sapperlings and thralls. Okay, no Magic players.
John,
anyway.
Question real quick. So do you know what your conversion rate is on your sales page, just in general?
I should know.
All right. Well, because you mentioned on the email course, I think your expectations are a little high on that. Like a lot of times, if you have a decent sales page and a decent autoresponder, you're going to get about 2 times the conversion on the autoresponder. So if your sales page converts at 1%, then 2%, would be reasonable to expect. But so I would actually guess somewhere between 3 and 5% is what you could reasonably expect on this.
My sales page, when I do a sale, like on my email core, like just from tracking it before, like on the launch, is around 3% for to my email list, right? Cold convert, who knows? I mean, it's minuscule.
Yeah, I'm talking cold.
So we're not talking cold here. We're talking even more warmed up than my email list, because these are people that have gone through, have created blogs, right? Have taken the steps. There's a huge amount of interaction here. I'm answering like an hour and a half worth of emails a day on this course, which we'll see if I think it'll be worth it. But I'm expecting. I mean, maybe like 6. That's why I'm saying 6 to 10%. But
yeah, I think because you've got a $300 product or $200 product. Like I'm seeing right now, it's hard for me to gauge, but with the King Sumo course that I have, I think from what I can tell, it looks like it's converting at around 8%, and that's a $97, and like the end price to them is $97.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be. I'm pretty sure that a $200 product will be lower.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see when I get more people coming through the waves and stuff. Then I'll put some better tracking in place. It was nice. I did. I know Derek saw it. Someone had tweeted that my sales page looked like crap. And so I just finished reading the Copy Hacker, book in. Joanna, is it Weeb?
I think it's Weeb.
Weeb. Anyway, so I said, this is. I basically replied back and said, and CC'd Joanna on it and said, basically, this is, that's what a long form sales page is supposed to look like, and tests confirm they're most effective, and and then I was shocked to see Joanna tweet back and be like. Say that it looked good. She said it looks pretty well designed and written long form sales page. Nice job. Hope it converts like a mofo. And then she made a specific comment about about what I had put on there, but isn't marketing myself wrong. So that makes me feel pretty good about that, because I was very, very skeptical of whether or not I'd produced a good long form sales page. But
high fives.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But anyway, so that's what's going on with that. So we'll see. I mean, I'm getting huge interaction with that course. A lot of people. There's a Twitter tag now that a hashtag we're putting out for the course for everyone who's creating new blogs this year and has graduated the course. So I don't know. It's a lot more successful than I expected, and I'm pretty happy with. At the very least, it's creating such. Like when people enter this course, they're going from like not knowing me, a lot of them, to like becoming rabid fans in like a 3-week period, which is a super accelerated pace instead of following me for 2 years. So that in itself is worth the course, just because of the level of interaction and the things within the course. Yeah. And book sales are doing pretty good. I'm hanging around the like 10,000 to 12,000 overall in Amazon. Kind of. I'm still working on a lot of marketing efforts for that. I've got some idea. I just recorded .NET Rocks, so that'll be coming on the 15th. I just recorded Test Talks with Joe, and that'll be coming out soon. I'm scheduled to go on the MS Dev show. And then I've got some ideas. Like I'm going to get a VA or someone to give me a list of all of the user groups, like software development user groups that they can find, and I'm going to send a copy of the book to all of the leaders of the user group and just ask them to mention the book in their user group. So that's probably like a good 1,000 leads that I could do. And then I just found out this morning that I'm going to be recording, that Manning wants me to do an audio version of the book. So that's my...
Yep. You may also want to send them another book to give away in the meeting. So like, here's one for you because you're awesome.
And one to give away. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's crazy. I've been feeling guilty about not getting stuff done because I'm not getting done what I'm scheduling. But there's so much work in promoting a book. It's like ridiculous amount of stuff to do. I created a bonus chapter I wrote this week, which I'll send to you guys. So you can be kind of the first people to get the bonus chapter, but it's about dealing with critics, and then there's just like there's a million things you could do to promote a book. Like, you could go and reach out to all the computer science programs, and because this would be an excellent book to give students, and there's an infinite list. So that's my week.
So I'll jump in here real quick. I got to leave in like 10 minutes anyway because I'm meeting a client for lunch. But yeah, so I emailed you guys about the Kickstarter thing.
Right.
So, buying my freedom, Rails clips, just to give some context to the listener. We talked about this last week, so that's what I'm doing. And I've decided I'm going to launch Rails clips by doing a Kickstarter for a series in Ruby on Rails.
Nice.
I've gotten about... So I've asked around a lot in the different communities I'm in. About half the people want something on how to build APIs in Ruby on Rails, and the other half want something on scaling Ruby on Rails. And so I figure I can do it on APIs and then, follow it up with, and when your API becomes popular, here's how you scale your Rails app.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
And so, I may do another Kickstarter in another 4 or 5 months for the other series and see if I can, build it again, so get the other people in on Rails clips and just kind of grow it that way. But anyway, I realized that I have been procrastinating making a video for it.
Yep.
And so then I was kicking myself for procrastinating making a video for it. And mostly it's that I found a Kickstarter campaign that somebody else did. It was CSS Tricks, and he was redesigning his website, and so he was going to make that series and put it in his membership area. Here's how I redesigned the website. And his video is awesome. And I don't have a little shed in the woods to record at. And so that's part of why I was putting it off. And so I realized that I just need to buckle down and do it. So, whether I'm, I set up a little webcam and I just sit in front of it and talk, and you kind of see what you see behind me now, or, I have a screen that a thing I can put up with a big white backdrop or a big black backdrop. I can do either one. But yeah, I just need to record it. And I think I think the information and the value in the video is really what's going to sell it anyway. Yeah. I mean, some character would help, but I'm not really in a position to do that. So.
Well, there's a couple of things. I mean, one, like, look at, again, we've got a mirror here, a dark room, right? Remember that it's not this flashy snazziness that matters. It's the content. And then two, do you have a DSLR?
No.
If you do you know someone that has one that you might be able to borrow?
Maybe.
Because I could probably coach you through shooting high def quality videos, since I've gotten pretty good at that with just a basic DSLR. You can do some pretty amazing things with that. But I mean, even if you don't go that road, just recording something will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to do it.
I do. I just need to do it. So. That's kind of the spot I'm in right now. So. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to quit putting it off and just do something. I mean, I just have to get it up and get it out. And I need to get it out before I record on Wednesday, basically, so that I'm in a position to tell people about it before I record new shows and get them out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that I can announce them, about when the Kickstarter comes out.
And
So
this is the
week after that.
Kickstarter. Oh, sorry, this is the Kickstarter video, right?
Yeah.
That you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So, just have the video explain, here are the videos I'm going to make, that are going to explain how you build an API in Rails, and here are the ones that are going to be free, here are the ones that are going to be paid,
So here's the thing. This is a one-off, right? Because, this wouldn't be practical if you're creating a bunch of these videos. But if you're just creating this one for the Kickstarter campaign and you want to make it as high quality as possible, there's two options. One, you could go and just look on Craigslist, look for a videographer. And then two, you can find a studio near you and just in fact, in Orlando, when I went to do a talk at a code camp or something there, it was at the library, and I was like, they had this whole free media room where you could, with a library card, use all this professional recording equipment and record video. I was like, what the heck? I don't know if you have that there. You might, but
I don't think so. But
there's studios that do that. So it might be. I mean, it might be worth it, since this is a Kickstarter. Since this is is like the quality that you put there is going to influence what people think. It might be worth calling a videographer, trying to find a studio, and just because you're only creating like a 5-minute video, so. It might be worth putting the max effort into making that high quality, especially because the launch of this thing is going to be big, right? It's going to be the thing that defines whether or not this project succeeds ultimately. Right. So and the video is the forefront thing with Kickstarter. So I would probably. I'm actually backing up from my previous advice, and I'm saying make this the highest quality thing that you can.
I agree.
Right.
I think it would be worth the investment to get a professional videographer, a studio. I wouldn't record in a studio, though. I would probably recommend going to a coffee shop or to a park or someplace that you like to be, someplace comfortable, someplace where, like a coffee shop especially, where you're going to see other people reading books and working on laptops and whatnot, and do this video with you sitting there at the coffee shop and talking about your experience and who you are. Of course, you need to get permission from the coffee shop to record there, but I'm sure if there's a place that you hang out on a regular basis, you'd be able to hook that up pretty easily.
Like a strip club, or
yeah, totally. Someplace that you go all the time.
do it like the Old Spice commercial. Just like people will be handing you things, and you're like tossing stuff.
Have you seen that Dollar Shave Club video?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it's completely random, but it's hilarious, and that's one of the things that made it so popular. There's a lot of options, but I think John's right. You should spend a minimum amount on getting high-quality recording. I mean, recording where you're sitting right now, you're going to get it done, and you're probably going to be successful. But if you spend a couple $100, maybe $1,000, and have a professional record you in a nice setting with good lighting, it's just going to be that much better, and you're going to get that much more attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're doing a whole series, I'd say,
Right.
but because this is the critical 5-minute slot that's going to make people decide whether or not to back this thing or to share the backing of it,
Right.
quality probably should be there.
Yep. Thoughts, Amir?
All right.
No thoughts. I think that's a general good idea. Another thing to potentially think about is maybe a co-work location. So I try to do some recordings I'll do it at Starbucks, and I have the same issue that you can't do that here. But if you have a co-work location that's got a nice venue and some rooms.
Yeah, there's one that's close by here, so I could just ask them.
Yeah, and especially if they get a little bit of quote unquote media coverage from that also.
Make sure you get their logo in the background or something. That way they get advertising, just background advertising while you're in the video.
Yep. So they'll really like that a lot.
Right.
Yeah, StardustDancers.com.
I want to see Chuck on a pole, man.
I can see it now, like the Old Spice commercial. You just do finger on the pole, throw some coffee in someone's face, and then you'll be like, "All right, I'm creating."
All right, this episode
is done. Yeah, this is.
Yeah, John's gonna help me out by googling strip club Utah or something.
Now that we have completely flushed ourselves down the toilet.
Oh, jeez. Where's the shark so we can jump over it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Derek, you've got a couple of minutes.
So I'm getting back to my weekly focus finally after a couple of months of not being able to do that. So I managed to record 4 episodes of Watch Me Code this week, which I now have 9 episodes on Express.js, which I'm when this series is done, I'm gonna be packaging that up and calling it Professional Express.js, because really the focus that I've been doing is improving Express.js code. It's not so much an introduction. If you're looking for an introduction, it'll work, but this is really more for people that have already been working with Express and know that they can organize their code better, but not quite sure how. So I'm really focused on that kind of aspect of it. I've got Momoko wrapping up my customer surveys that I sent out last week. We've got 40 or 50 responses on there, I think, which is going to be awesome.
Nice.
So that'll be some tremendously valuable information. She's done a couple of interviews with people as well to get direct feedback. So I'm going to take all of that once she has that built up and put together a plan to rebuild the Watch Me Code website. I'm probably going to stick with WordPress because that's where everything is right now. So I'm likely going to have to hire a Genesis theme developer, StudioPress developer, to build out the site correctly based on all the feedback that we're getting, and use that to focus the direction of Watch Me Code during the coming year. Because thinking back to when we had Rob Walling on a couple of weeks ago, I think Watch Me Code really has the highest potential for me to be able to buy my freedom. So focusing on this and putting in the effort to market it, to help push it forward, to produce these bundles like I'm doing, along with the monthly subscriptions, I think there's huge potential here for me to be able to do a lot of good with this.
Yeah.
So that's been this week for me. Next week I'm going to be focusing on SignalLeaf again. I've got 80% of the Dropbox integration prototyped, and so I need to start putting it into SignalLeaf itself. So I think that's where I'm going to be focusing next week. I've got a decent plan already plotted out inside of OmniFocus for what I'm going to be doing with SignalLeaf next week, and it all revolves around Dropbox integration.
Cool. Yeah, I'm very excited to see that feature.
Yeah.
By the way, quick piece of data for you. I updated my ultimate list of developer podcasts, and when I did that, 13 podcasts dropped off the list, or dropped down to dead.
Yeah.
So that's just an interesting thing that, you might be able to use that in some way, or just something to think about as well. So.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
What do you mean dropped off to dead? They don't produce them anymore?
Yep. I called you dead if you haven't produced a podcast episode in 2 months.
Okay.
That's fair.
I'd like to see that list actually. I want to see how many. I want to get some stats on those. How many episodes they did produce, how long they ran, things like that. Because there is the standard saying that like 80% of podcasts don't make it past episode 6 or 8. So if these podcasts are falling into that range, then that's not surprising. But I'd like to see the ones that were dropped from your list specifically.
I kept them on the list, like as a dead or almost dead, and you can see.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Some of them made them. I mean, if you only had less than 8 episodes, I have to. Like I probably didn't put you on. Okay,
I've got to take off. I'll see you guys later.
All right, see you, Chuck.
That was fun. Thank you, Amir.
Yeah, thanks for coming on to me. This has been really great hearing all these wonderful details about how you got into this and everything that you did to make it successful and all the challenges that you're facing. This is the kind of info that I love hearing personally. There's so much of what you've done is reflecting the things that I'm trying to do and the experiences that I've had. And you're talking about game development versus business applications and video development even.
Right.
But there's so many parallels. It's really cool to hear that.
Yeah, definitely stay in touch with us.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of synergy here, especially when you start launching your stuff.
Right.
We can probably help you, and I think that yeah. So.
Yeah, if you ever need any advice on how to do launch sequences and how to build up a lot of anticipation, Josh and John are pretty phenomenal at doing that. I've learned a ton from those guys, and had some pretty successful launches from that. Yeah,
I do need to do get better at that, the streaming, because right now it's like it's pretty bad.
Right.
You seem to get set up, you see this like infinite thing with the screen sharing and stuff. So I gotta get better at that. Cool, that's good to know.
Cool. All right, guys. See you again next week.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Wanna start a business but you just know how to code? Listen to the Entre Programmers and we'll teach you straight up to be developers.